All right, let's see. I don't know if anyone can see me or hear me. I don't know if I'm live right now. Um, Never a dull moment. Folks, this is not going to be a very long live stream. I know my live stream have been all over the map as far as schedule. Somebody emailed me earlier and like, dude, what the hell is going on? And I, I told him, he's like, when are you going to do your next live stream? I'm like, I don't know. And like, they cancel a meeting and I knock out a 20-minute live stream and I'm gone again. That's why my live streams, a lot of you aren't getting notifications because I can't say like, okay, I'm going to be on like Wednesday at 3 or something. Because I never know if I'm going to be on at Wednesday at 3, right? I get a call and they're like, hey, a business partner just showed up in town and hey, Joe, and we're going to go have some beers. And next thing I know, by 3, 4 o'clock, I'm already drunk and I shouldn't be doing a live stream. Although Joe might find that amusing as crap. Um, Drunk live streams probably not a good idea if you want to make a coherent argument about stuff. So this will be kind of a short one because I got dinner duty tonight. Hey, Jason, what's going on? Um, and I actually want to talk about. Can I help you? So today, Bentley's not actually in trouble. Today, Jackson got in trouble because he was doing super bark for no reason and he pissed Bentley off. So Bentley went after him. And then Pepper is technically Bentley's sister. So I hopped on panel drunk a time or two. I did once recently, actually, and I won't tell you which. I'll see if you guys can figure it out. And I just hopped on. I was online. They're like, "Hey, come on up." And it's not a channel. This channel is a good channel, but our schedules are completely opposite. And God, I was three sheets. I was trying really hard not to say anything awful, but usually I don't do that. I try and be coherent when I'm up here. But anyway, so then the brother and sister went after the loofah and chased the loofah around the house, and so he got banished. He got sent away. But I want to talk specifically about one thing. Before I do, I want to shout out a couple of quick videos. One economic ninja talked about the economy, which is what he does, but he also talked about how we're going to see certain types of buildings on fire. I'm going to try and post that in my community page. Hey, Magic, what's going on? But I just want you folks to go check out some of his more recent videos. He did two short live streams, like 20 minutes apiece. And yeah, it does happen to the best of us, man. But I think it's definitely worth a listen because I've actually seen this happen. And one of the videos, he says that because of the inflation, because of the interest rates and all that good stuff, um, people can't buy homes. I think we've already talked about this on a lot of channels, including this one. And so, but the builders are still making, and at some point they're going to have inventory they can't sell. Hey, Billy, welcome. Um, and so he proposes that we're going to start seeing, how we saw a bunch of derailments and a bunch of plant fires, and we're going to see a bunch of residential new build fires because they're trying to get rid of their inventory. And I actually saw that. I'm rewatching Gran Torino. Haven't seen it in years. Joe, I will watch Gran Torino and get drunk while watching Gran Torino because it reminds me of my dad and his buddies. Everything they said was racist. And what's funny, it was like a black guy, a Puerto Rican, an Italian, and a Jew. It sounded like a bad bar joke. And I'd meet, I was this little like 7, 8-year-old kid, and these guys would be like, "Hey, did you see that Pollock fell down the stairs over there?" And they'd be laughing. And I'm like, "That's not a nice word, Dad." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. It's just a bunch of old Korean War guys." So if you ever watch Gran Torino, the old man was like my dad's friends. It was like having Red Foreman, but he was Puerto Rican. Hey, Pilgrim Magic. So anyway, going back to my story before I had a squirrel moment, Economic talks about how some of these builders, some of these commercial real estate holders won't know what to do with their buildings. People are still working remote way more than they were in 2019. And a lot of these buildings, a lot of real estate, both commercial and residential, are in trouble. And he says you're going to start seeing a lot of people set fire, kind of like the mafia used to do to their restaurants back in the 70s, or torch it and collect the insurance money, which means all of us pay more in insurance premiums. But Just something to think about. My credit card of 26 years went from 6 to 20%. Jason, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Um, but I did want to shout out the Economic Ninjas video. I actually saw that happen in 2008 in Houston. We were living in Houston, and downtown was in the middle of like this weird, what do they call it when you rebuild the downtown area? Gentrification. And the housing market cratered, and there were a bunch of single dwelling homes, old homes like from the 50s, that were vacant because the people couldn't afford them. They foreclosed. And systemically, each of these houses started catching fire. They literally reported an arson in the Montrose area and in the Heights every other day for almost 8 months. Nobody ever died, but the vacant house was burned again. And all of a sudden, magically, two big investors swooped in, bought up all the property that had been burned out, and built condos and sold them for a killing. So yeah, they do that, and it happens. But wiring issues got it. No booze for the next 7 days, sadly. My credit went from 26. Oh no, I read that already. Dude, his kids in that movie pissed me off like a paragraph. Oh yeah, no, yeah. The kids in Gran Torino. Jason, you might be right. So I wanted to show you this one because this is what I want to talk about. What the U.S. credit downgrade means for the economy and for our finances. Now, obviously, we can't control the economy, right? And we don't control what the U.S. government does. But I'll just read it to you. Now, this one was on ABC. There are about 5 or 6 really good articles. This one was just really easy to go through. A rating agency downgraded U.S. credit for the second time in the nation's history on Tuesday, sounding an alarm with implications for the economy and everyday people's finance if U.S. debt continues to grow. Fitch rating that lowered the country's credit rating to AA plus from AAA, citing the ballooning U.S. debt load and a weakening of governance. On top of that, Fitch said the U.S. to enter a recession later this year. Expects the U.S. to enter a recession later this year. I honestly think we already hit a recession a year ago and maybe came out of it a little bit, and then we're going to fall back into it. Either way, analysts downplayed the immediate economic effect of the rating decision, and it says it marks a significant milestone on a path of increasing debt that could ultimately raise the nation's borrowing costs. And so, in a nutshell, what happens when the nation's credit goes down, right? Our credit, basically America's credit score goes down, right? So yeah, so the U.S. is borrowing more or using more money than it takes in, right? Because they don't know how to manage the shit. So now the U.S. has debt. We all kind of know this part. So to pay for a lot of our projects, we're taking loans from other countries, right? You have a good credit rating. It's like anything else, like any of us. Your credit rating's good. Hey, Lion, what's going on? And somebody else snuck in there. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll on the laptop. I have the iPad here and the laptop there. Pilgrim, hello, Magic, Joe, Royal Lioness. So the same thing happens to a country. If the U.S. has a bad credit rating, other countries, banks, regardless, won't want to, hey, Daryl Calhoun, Independent Many, don't want to loan the U.S. money, right? Or they're going to want more interest or more collateral. And this is where things start getting hairy for the American people, because that eventually, you know how they say crap rolls downhill? Well, it'll roll downhill on us. It says, Mark Zant, chief economist of Moody's Analytics. I don't think global investors learn anything from the downgrade. When push comes to shove, if anything is going on in the global economy or even in the U.S., they'll come here and buy U.S. Treasury bonds. Currently the safest asset on the planet. What does it mean for everyday people? And this is why I wanted, whoever wrote this one, I'm not always a fan of ABC News, but they have some good financial people, and they put together some good articles. Like the economic threat posed by the rating announcement, the possible financial impact of the long term would be long term rather than immediate. This would mean higher costs for borrowing for everything from credit cards to mortgages to cars. And I've said before, if you have a fixed interest rate mortgage or fixed interest rate vehicle, your payment's your payment. It likely will not go up. Hey, Teresa, what's going on? Likely will not go up anytime quickly, regardless of what the interest rates are doing. But if the US's interest rates go up, the Fed's going to continue to crank theirs up. And it almost makes you wonder if they were increasing interest rates not because of inflation, but because they knew this was coming. They knew their credit rating was getting tanked and they needed to collect more or pull some money out of the economy. I'm just speculating. I'm not a macroeconomist. I just know enough to be dangerous. Although I have taken economic courses when I did my master's. Um, the bottom line is, like the credit cards, like somebody had just pointed out, their credit card after 20 years, 26 years, went from 6% interest to 20%. You're like, well, what the hell, right? The problem is credit cards have an adjustable portion and a fixed portion, right? The fixed portion says they can only charge like 1% of whatever your principal balance is. And then they have this adjustable part that goes up and down with the federal interest rates. So as this is creeping up, it's increasing the interest being charged on your credit card, which means your minimum is going to go up. Or depending on the way the card's set up, you're paying less on your principal. Now, I believe the law states that at least such a certain percent of each payment must go toward the balance. So what they're going to do is just increase your minimum. And this is going to be tough for a lot of folks who are struggling post-Rona. If they've run into any kind of problems, waiting for glue to dry so I can turn my water back on. That's a good thing. Well, that everything dry. Scrolling Amazon's for daughter's birthday present. Now, congratulations, Therese. I'm glad to see that. That's awesome. In a wet crawl space, replacing valves. Ugh. No worries about typos. All good. But what does this mean for us? Well, that means if you're trying to borrow money, right, and we're all trying to avoid debt, it's going to be harder. Now, you may think, well, I'm not going to borrow money, right? I'm going to pay down my credit cards and be done. That's what, I'm trying to pay off any remaining debt I have. Many of you have already paid off. Where it hurts us, even if we're doing the right things, is companies want to expand. They want to upgrade their store. They need to open a new location. It's going to be harder to do so. They're going to be paying more. Truckers, for instance, trucking companies, they want to buy, if they don't have the cash on hand to buy, say, the semi right away. Let's say Walmart buys their own trucks. They don't have the money to buy right away. They normally would just take out a loan, borrow the bank's loan, pay that off over years, depreciate the truck, and they have the new semi, and they stick a driver in there and off they go. Now Walmart's going to be like, well, we're just going to retire the truck and have less trucks. That way we can keep our cash because the economy is bad, and we're not paying a higher interest rate. Now you see where that starts coming into play. And again, this is a hypothetical, but it's one of many possible scenarios. So now you have less trucks on the road, which means less product being sent to stores on a regular basis, less product amounts per week, which means demand's going to go up because there'll be a change in supply, which means price goes up, which comes to us. I don't know if you guys are following me here. And I may not have done hey, Rabid Coyote, what's going on? I'm not sure if you guys kind of track me on that. But again, think about, for instance, you want to buy something from Lowe's, and normally in the past you'd buy, say you use your Lowe's card and it has whatever percent interest rate. Well, at the time it was low, you bought, say, $1,000 of product, you fixed your house, did whatever, and then you paid it off in 3 months, and you really didn't pay much interest, right? Well, now that's going to be harder to do. The minimum payments are going to be higher. For folks that are already struggling, that's going to hurt them. Then the companies are going to be like, well, we wanted to hire more people and expand so we can serve our communities better, but now we're not going to do it. The whole concept of defensive prepping came from defensive economics, and that's what's going to happen is the companies are going to go, well, you know what, we're not going to expand, we're not going to hire more people, and that means that there are less people that they have to pay more to, less trucks on the road, right? Because the independent truckers are going to either have to leave the industry or they won't be able to afford the more, to buy and loan out a new truck. A new semi runs you $250,000. Companies don't want to spend their cash on hand because the economy is screwed up, right? They want to be cash rich, right? That, again, the defensive prepping came from defense, these economic maneuvers companies do. So you figure the companies normally hold their cash and borrow money and pay a little bit of interest and call it good. Well, now they're not borrowing and they're sitting on their cash. So you're going to see less trucks, less workers. They're going to shut plants down. If the plant's not economically viable, they're not going to take out a loan and, oh, let's revamp this plant to make more food or more product. They're going to be like, let's shut that son of a gun down because the interest is so high, it's going to cost me more to do that. Magic, that's a great way to put it. Insolvencies are going to go up. And you're going to start seeing people do dumb things in reaction to the bad economy. And this is just going to be an ongoing thing, folks. So the fact, and what concerns me is, the Fed can raise interest rates and lower interest rates every quarter, right? That's more a short-term, midterm thing. When something like this happens on the global stage, it hurts a lot. Also, if you go overseas, your money buys less, right? Because your currency is not as valuable. So needless to say, when this downgrade happened late Tuesday, by this morning, the whole stock market was in the red, except for gold, silver, and energy. They went the other way. So go figure. And they may have come down again. But yeah, it's going to be, and Magic's spot on, it's not just going to be a money crisis, it's going to be a lending crisis, a cash flow availability crisis to a lot of companies. So if the company was not cash heavy, or even worse, let's say you're starting a new business, you took out a bank loan after COVID ended in 2021, 2022. You're like, I'm going to start my business. The economy's coming back. Well, now that bank loan, if you want to get another loan to expand or upgrade your store, it's going to cost you a lot more because the US credit rating's going down and the Fed's raising interest rates at the same time. Sorry, I'm dying here. By the way, this was that bottle we got for free at the benefit seminar for my wife. Those are freaking awesome. Hey, just doing our best. I'm glad you made it. Moonsprout, hello, hello. And again, this won't be a very long live, but I wanted to give everyone some kind of context to what that credit rating change is going to do to us. And hold on, somebody's texting me now. Never a dull moment. Hold on. And there's another YouTuber who I will not name, but he is absolutely on a rant today because of what people are doing. So okay, and now we're trying to figure out if we're doing tacos or pizza tonight. I get these random texts from my wife. She's like, I like tacos. Well, that's awesome. It's 10 in the morning. No, I'd like tacos tonight for dinner. Oh, okay. 2 hours later. What about pizza? You just said tacos. All right. My brain now wants tacos. I guess I can make taco pizza. I don't know. Anyway, crypto mining and investments not panning out. No, and see, Magic, those are so nebulous. They're so hard to understand for a lot of folks that even when people do their homework and think they understand, something changes. Taco Wednesday, why not? Hey, Jet Mech, what's going on? Welcome. So, folks, when you see this kind of news, see, this is indirect to us, right? Like direct would be like Angry Prepper put out one about they're reporting anthrax cases in a lot of places. Now that happens a lot in West Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. Naturally, out in the desert, critters go around, they ingest something, they get anthrax, and down they go. But he even said in the video, don't panic. It's just something to put in your back pocket because it's something that occurs, right? And it could be there's somebody setting up something, or it could be, oh, it's an anthrax vaccine. And he said it could just be the government updating, like, wow, our anthrax vaccines are 50 years old. We probably should get new ones, right? So not a big thing to worry about. But that's more direct to us, right? There's an outbreak of something that's direct to us. This is kind of indirect because people read this and go, the government sucks, right? And a lot of people just stop right there. I used to get random texts from a gal, definitely didn't want anyone else watching it. That's not good. Hey, come over here. Bentley, Why are you barking at the door? That's not what we do, fool. Mom's not home yet, stupid boy. No, don't woof at me. Come here. Shh, wow, come here. So, the insanity has ensued. But, hush, hey, calm down. But anyway, they're going nuts. I think either my wife's home or they think she's home. I'm going to put Jackson's in the stockade already. Sorry, that was loud. Hey, quit it. So anyway, as I was saying, folks, this kind of situation where you suddenly have the country gets a bad credit rating, it's not direct to us. It's not like, oh, there's been derailments. Oh, there's a rice shortage. Oh, there's, anthrax or whatever, chupacabra outbreak. This is indirect, but we won't see the effect for months. And a lot of people have been saying, I've said it, I know I'm very confident energy prices are going to go up in Q3, Q4, especially toward the end of the year. At the same time, we just got hit with a credit rating change just as we're going into Q3. And the interest rates are going up. So we're going to keep battling that. So, folks, what I want you to take away from this, again, I stay home a lot now. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. All right. So Bentley's in the stockade now, as Joe had mentioned earlier. And exactly, JetMac, it gives the government more excuse to raise the interest rate. Well, our credit rating went down, but who's it going to hurt? See, so it's not a direct line, but I wanted to point it out. Now, it's no reason to freak. This is going to be kind of like a slow moving train wreck, for lack of a better description. But as I've said, now's a great time. Look at your prices. When you go out shopping, hit 3 or 4 stores at once and compare prices in your area and see, okay, what is the price of this product that I need here versus here? If you have family from in other cities that may have a different market, right? Like Dallas will get product way before cities in West Texas, right? Or Houston, which is a port city, it's huge. Um, if I'm making a trip to Houston, I always bring a list of anything I might need that I find very expensive here to see if they're getting a better deal. And it doesn't cost me much extra gas to buy it, throw it in the truck, and take it home with me. I'm already there, right? I'm there for whatever other reason. So, hey, Heroic, what's going on, man? So, actually, Joe, if you use a little beer as you're sautéing the fish, it takes away the fishy smell. That was a trick my dad used. I haven't used it in years, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, folks, this is an indirect problem to us. And these are the hard ones to pick out, right? Because you read it and you're like, oh, the government's credit rating sucks. And it's 3 or 4 steps before it actually affects us, but it will. Because again, the US government has to pay more to buy, and it'll also affect social programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, which means people will have to pay more out of pocket, which means they may have to put it on a credit card. But the credit card interest rate's going up because the Fed's bringing it up. You kind of see how all this kind of cascades, but it's little steps and it's a slew of them, and it's sometimes hard for people to put all those little steps together. So this is why Mass Hole in the House. Hey, Dan, what's going on? This is a great time to just evaluate what you have. Now, if you need meds for a chronic condition, see if your insurance will get you the 90-day. It's cheaper. Most insurance companies like it. So if you're like on blood pressure meds or diabetes, or whatever, if you can get a 90-day supply, you're going to save money. And now you have a stash in the event something happens. You're not, oh crap, I run out at the end of the week. You've got a few weeks or maybe even a few months to think about it. Hey, what's going on? But yeah, I just wanted to point this out because I didn't want folks to kind of not pay attention to it, but it's not a reason to panic. This is a good opportunity for you to kind of evaluate. And if you have that high interest credit card and you still got a little balance on it, kill that damn thing, right? The car payment sucks, but the car payment typically is a fixed rate. So it's not going to change. It's not going to suddenly go up. But I'm not going to buy a new car now if the interest rate's going up and the country's credit rating's going down. So who's that going to hurt? That's going to hurt the car dealerships and the auto manufacturers. Now, if we're lucky and we kind of sit on that downswing, we might get a deal on a pickup truck in January, right? But between then and now, you don't want to buy it. So watch how these things move and interplay. And this is why I try and point these things out, because I want folks to kind of understand this will affect us, but it's not right on our heads. It's happening over here and it slowly makes its way to us, which means we have a little bit of time to react. We have a little bit of time to find the things you need and pay for them at today's pricing so you can eat tomorrow for something cheaper. So anyway, folks, yeah, it's really hard to predict how these things happen, but I just wanted to show how those dots connect, how it can affect you, and more importantly, that it's not something to freak out about, but it's something to put in the back of your mind. So if you have to buy that new car for whatever reason, you got to buy that new house, something just happens, you can make an informed decision. Well, do I want to try and take a flat rate bank loan or stick it on a credit card? Right? That can make a big difference over the next couple of years. So just make those smart decisions now. I promise you make little bitty decisions that are in the plus column every day. In a 6-month period, you're going to look back and go, wow, I paid off all this debt. Wow, I have this inventory of preps. Spare parts, not a bad idea, Magic. Yeah. But folks, look, be careful, be safe out there. It is a trickle-down effect, but it's not the good trickle-down effect. It's a bad trickle-down effect. But at least now you see it, you kind of see how it can affect you. Don't panic, think it through, because we have time. That's why I love studying this stuff. I love geopolitics and economics, because it's something I can study. And it's not like, oh, that car is going to hit me, right? Car's coming at you, you got to move right then and there, or you get smushed, one or the other. This kind of stuff, you see it happening now. You know where it probably will end up. And now you can kind of position yourself to kind of maneuver through those obstacles as the year progresses. So I just wanted to throw that to you and think about a new ride within the next year now. And yeah, Dan. Yeah, Magic, been prepping for this. And remember, an SHTF doesn't have to be the apocalypse. You could lose your job. Your company or store can burn down, God forbid. You get in a car wreck and wind up with a weird hospital bill, right? Things happen. The preps are not just for zombies. It's for a little of everything. But anyway, folks, I got to run. I know the boss is going to be looking for me in about 10 minutes, so I want to at least have my game face on when I get on Teams. You guys, be good, be blessed. Don't freak out. Remember, think these things through. We got time. That's why we watch what's happening, because time is a super valuable tool. And I promise you, the general public is going to freak the hell out 3 months from now. In the meantime, we've been paying the debt, storing the food, cleaning the house, upgrading the car. You get what I'm saying? We were ahead of the game. Let them panic. Not that I'm being ugly to other people. I don't want people to suffer, but I don't want y'all to suffer. I don't want to suffer. I don't want my loved ones to suffer. That's why we do what we do. Anyway, be calm, be smart, be safe. I will see you on the next video. You guys take care and God bless.